29th. And we're going to talk about 1-7, distributive property. All right, the first thing that we're going to distribute is we've got a number outside of parentheses, and inside the parentheses you got a letter and a number. Okay? What does a number next to parentheses mean to do in math? Yes? Multiply. Very good. Now what this means is you have to multiply 3 times x. You got to put a plus sign, and then you got to multiply 3 times 8. Alright, I always draw these little arrows or little lines showing what I'm going to be doing. 3 times x is 3x. If there's a plus sign here, you put a plus sign here. And then 3 times 8 is 24. Can you add 3x to 24? You can't. You can't add them together because the 24 doesn't have an x after it. They're not like terms, so you can't add them together. You're done. Okay? You just simplified an expression using the distributive property. So try it for 5 times x plus 7. What'd you get, Maylena? Okay. Brandon? 5x plus 35. Okay. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 7 is 35. Try it for a times b plus c. A times b, Madison. A times b. AB, good. Plus sign. Dan, A times C. AC, very good. Let's try it for -7 times 5b minus 4. Sarah? Okay. Why did I put plus 28? It's right. Good question. -7 times 5b is -35b. Now, I said before, if that's minus, put a minus there. -7 times 4. -7 times 4. -28. So that's what you end up with. And then to clean it up, you would keep, change, change, and it becomes -35b plus 28.
Didn't you say plus 4? That's where you said plus 4.
I'm not sure. So try -y times 2y minus 1. Thanks. -y times 2y is -2y squared. Negative y times negative 1. Negative times a negative. It's the same thing that happened here. I'm just going through that step, so I don't have to write it again. Yes? A little louder? Okay. What's y times y equal? Good. Y squared. What's y plus y equal? 2y. It's squared because you're multiplying. What does x squared mean? X times x. What's that? Okay, x times x. So doesn't x times x equal x squared? Okay. So then y times y would equal y squared. And negative y times y would equal negative y squared. And 2 times negative y times y would equal negative 2y squared. Just put the negative out in front of the whole term. So if we go back, right here we had negative y times 2 times y. Okay? You're going to put the negative sign in front, and then you're going to put the number, and then you're going to put the variable in the exponent. So here, try this. 3 times undo that. 3y times y plus 1. 3y times y equals, Dan? You agree, Madison? 3y squared. 3y times 1. Very good. 3y. All right, now, how about if this happens? How about if 2f minus 4, and the number that you're distributing is on the back? Now look, all that means is 2f times negative 2, and it means negative 4 times negative 2. Okay? You're still going to distribute. It's still parentheses next to parentheses. So 2f times negative 2 is negative 4f. And negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8.
How is it plus 8?
Mm-hmm. The longer way to do this is to write out 2f times negative 2. So 2f times negative 2. Because that's really what this first step means, right? 2f times negative 2, so 2f times negative 2. All right? Minus, so minus 4 times negative 2. So what's, the 2f times negative 2 is negative 4f minus 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. And we're back to that subtracting a negative again. But hopefully through a bunch of practice, you'll realize that this ends up being the same thing as negative 4 times negative 2, which is positive 8. because this simplifies to negative 4f, keep, change, plus 8. And that is the same as that. Yes, sir. Oh, I thought you had a question. All right, your favorite now. Fractions. 1/4 times 8f minus 16. Yes. How close are you? I'm going to go ahead. Just you can kind of stop where you're at because these are going to be on headline tonight for you to look at again. Morning. 1/4 times 8f. Thank you. Pass this to fellow Sita, please. 1/4 times 8f. That's the same as 1/4 times 8f over 1, isn't it? Minus 1/4 times 16 over 1. When you multiply fractions, you multiply straight across, don't you? What's 1 times 8f? 8f. Over 4 times 1. Minus 1 times 16. Over 4 times 1. Which is equal to, what's 8 divided by 4? 4 goes into 8 twice, so you get 2f. 16 divided by 4. 4. Done. Yes, sir. Yeah, you could have. Yeah, if you're better at it, and as you get better at this, there's two things that are going to happen. You're going to, when I look at this, I say, well, what's 1/4 of 8? 1/4 of 8 is 2, so I get 2f. And what's 1/4 of 16? 4. Right? Because multiplying by 1/4 is the same as dividing by 4. 8f divided by 4 is 2f. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So as you get better at recognizing what you're looking at, and you feel a little bit more comfortable with fractions, you can eliminate a couple of those steps, especially when you're dealing with fourths. Now, if you start dealing with, it's 2/5 of something, then use all the steps so you don't make a mistake. Any other questions? All right, today what I want you to do is page 54. You're doing 4 through 18. These notes that we just did together, I am going to post them on Headline under Notes. So if you get home tonight and you're missing something, or you're confused, or you came in late, just go to the Notes folder, click on today's date, and this is going to open. Okay? I need you guys to finish this assignment, and then I posted a study guide. Where? Study guide on Headline. I recommend you look at the study guide that is on Headline. Page 54, 4 through 18.